Morning, everyone. It's Thursday morning, and it's Thursday, so it's Claims Day. This is your pre-opening comment. It's video number 657, and I remind you to hit that subscribe button so that you can be supportive of the effort. Doesn't cost a thing. Okay, lots of news this morning. Asia and Europe, both down. Um, a lot of economic news around for them too. Uh, there was a report on from Japan about a couple of major clothing manufacturers who are lowering prices by about 9%. Um, this is their biggest problem. They have been in a deflationary cycle since the top of the market. Um, their market has never made a new high, I don't believe. But economically, things there are just not that great. Eurozone retail sales were down, the sharpest decline since last April. And German PMI, construction PMI, 41 versus 46.6. So while people can get all excited about the reopening and how great Europe looks, and I just don't see it. I will say that I have looked at a bunch of banks, both in Europe and Canada, and some of those look substantially better based on the yield curve right now. And the fact that they have been down so long and ours have gotten so expensive all of a sudden in the last 6 weeks or so. And I don't mean historically expensive. I just mean we've had, some big price increases. Okay, initial claims up 9,000 to 745,000. Last week was revised up from 711 to 736. So this is a particularly poor number. It is still higher than the peak of the 2008 to 2010 recession. Continuing claims continues to fall, 4.295 million versus 4.419 million. Not a terrible number, but again, at a relatively high level. Productivity in the fourth quarter looks like a final read, down 4.2% versus down 4.7% estimate. So that's not terrible. Unit labor costs, however, were up 6%, and factory orders comes out at 10 o'clock, so we'll see there. In corporate news, we have Disney closing 60 retail stores across the U.S. We have Snowflake from yesterday, widening loss on increased sales. Sales doubled, and so did the loss. The stock, however, is $249.50, and that's up 257, or about 1%. Last night, if you recall, the stock had gone from a low of 227 to 241, so we're up another $8 on that. So that's a pretty substantial turnaround. American Eagle Outfitters beat both top and bottom line. The stock closed yesterday 25.43, up 32 cents. Today is trading 26.58. Excuse me, another $1.15 higher. Okta is buying, excuse me, an ID authentication business for $6.5 billion. Don't really know what that's going to mean for it, but the stock has acted pretty well. And yesterday it was down. This is a stock that 2 days ago was 280. It hit 207 yesterday and closed down at 215.30, and that was down 43. Amazon and the NFL look like they're close to a deal for Thursday night football. Marvell 43.05 down 250, even though it beat top and bottom. GE raised price objective at Morgan Stanley. The stock was up $1.11 yesterday to close at around 13.5. It did trade briefly over 14 yesterday. I believe the high was 14.21 and it closed 13.65, up 8.5%. And I remind you, we bought this stock as soon as it was dropped from the Dow, because there is a long history of stocks being pushed out of the Dow and then having major runs. The last one that we did on this as a straight buy, I believe, was Alcoa, and that was a monster success. Okay, for anybody who follows the meme stocks and Wall Street bets, I see two things here that are somewhat interesting. One of them is a big disappointment on earnings. That's Purple, PRPL. They're the ones who make that 4-inch thick piece of purple foam bedding. The stock was as low as $26.90 today. Last is $28.38, down $8.78, but that was also one with a reasonable short interest, so down 24%. You may see a bit of a bounce there. The stock is down from $40.85 just 3 days ago, and they gave poor guidance for the quarter, but they gave good guidance for the whole fiscal year. And this one has absolutely no news on it and a gigantic short interest. That is Tanger Outlets. This is kind of an also ran from my perspective in my outlet shopping. It's not it's not as big as the level ones, but pretty substantial. The symbol is S as in Sam, K as in Kilo, T as in Tom. Short interest is 47 million shares, which is 41% of the outstanding. Yesterday, in a really crummy market and with no news, it closed 1865 up 258, and today has hit as high as 2569, and it is currently trading in the 21 area. So it's up again, and up over $3, and 2068 up 294 right now on the tape in pre-market. Again, whenever I see a company like this, price-wise, the first, and I do the homework and find out that there's a big short interest, that always piques my interest, and the stock also trades options. So, I'm not saying that it's a buy up here at 21, but it could get a little on the crazy side. Also, the other one is Palantir, which is a big Robinhood, Wall Street bets, etc. Kind of deal, and it has been down hard for about a week and a half. Right now, it's up about $1.50, and it looks to me like that one might also start to have a little bit more of a move to the upside. As I said, it is a favorite. It does have a short interest, and it definitely is Reddit stock. All right, everyone, that's about it. The chart on the screen here is silver. I don't know whether silver is front-running the gold or running behind it, but as you can see, this looks like a consolidation and coming back down to support, whereas the gold looks just horrendous. Has been making lower lows and lower highs. I'll give you a look at that. It's currently unchanged. up a dime, down a dime. Completely different chart. Completely different. The silver is still in this area as it relates to the chart, meaning that it has not broken from the consolidation, whereas the gold has. Now, if the gold can hold yesterday's low at 1699.40 and start to move up, the first thing I'd like to see it do is close above this 17 and a quarter, I believe it was 1723. Like to see it close above that. That would also take it back above the 5-day moving average. And more importantly, if we could crack yesterday's high, which was a rally up to almost 1740, 1739.10, then I think, the next stop would probably be about 18 and a half or so, this area of resistance. But that would still be a pretty nice and very tradable move. I think that the coffee has also come into an area where there is good support for it. It is down 15 cents, and it has come in pretty hard. This is one, though, as you can see, this is one that is getting back to support. I'll give you a little longer look so that you can tell. This one has an excellent proxy. As you can see, we clearly have broken out. The fact that we're pulling back to that point of breakout, I think, is very bullish. And of course, we trade JO as a proxy for this. I'll give you a look at that because I think it's pretty impressive, and it too has options. Did not quite break out the way that the coffee actually did, but rode along the long-term 200-week moving average here, and bounced higher. 5 is leaning up, 20 is leaning up, 50 and 100 are leaning up, and the 200 clearly has been major support. So I would not be surprised to see this move from the current level of about 38 up to the 44 to 45 area. A quick reminder, though, if you don't want to trade the options, or you don't want to trade the stock and you want to actually trade the futures, please give me a call or send me a direct message or an email, because we have a very active futures trading program, and I'd be happy to introduce you to the trader, and you can go from there. Coffee, for example, is $375 per $1 move. So a move from where it is right now in that neighborhood of, in that neighborhood of 132.5 goes to 133.5. That's $375. That's barely a blip in the stock or the option, the ETF JO that we use, and it can be very profitable. And of course, we use stops there. So if you have an interest, give me a call or an email, and I'll give you all of the information. Okay, last look at the futures. The Dow is up about 28. This is after the Nikkei and the Shanghai and the Hang Seng all down over 2% today. S&P looks to be down about $2, and the NASDAQ is still in that same area of up a little, down a little. Currently, looks like it's down about $5. All right, everyone. Have a good morning. Be careful out there. Take a look at JO. Call me on the futures. And don't forget to hit the subscribe.